Hello Orchid friends, welcome back to my channel. Wherever you are, I hope you're having a great day, staying healthy and staying safe. Today we're looking at my Phalaenopsis cherry in my collection. This is a supermarket / grocery store orchid. However, it did come with a name tag and it says cherry. I suspect it got its name from the color on the flower, this dark purple, dark reddish purple color, the cherry color. At first, I didn't quite care for the flower, the way that the flower looked, but then it kind of grew on me a little bit. I gradually became to like the flower color and pattern more and more. Primarily, when I first bought this orchid, it was because of its recessive pattern or modeling on the leaves. And then eventually I've grown to like the flower a little bit better, so I decided to keep it. Originally, I wasn't liking it, and a friend of mine was really in love with this orchid, and I thought about giving it away, but I didn't go for it. And I'm glad that I didn't, because this orchid has proven to be a very vigorous and easy to care for orchid. This video clip is the video clip from its previous bloom cycle, and later in the video you'll see its current bloom video clips. At the time, it was still in its original container that it came with. I didn't repot it right away because I looked at the medium. It was a mixture of bark chips and a little bit of sphagnum moss. It looked okay, it didn't smell bad, and it had a lot of roots, so I decided that I want to keep it for another winter, another bloom cycle before I decide if I want to repot this orchid. And I tend to like to do that for new orchids. Of course, when you get new orchids, you always want to quarantine them, or at least not introduce them to your entire collection right away. Don't put them together in case there is any potential pest that may cross-contaminate and get onto your other healthy orchids. So here, beginning of this blooming cycle, I realized that this orchid is gonna do much better than it had done previously, and the reason for that is I'm seeing not only just one main flower spike, but then also two tiny little branch coming out of the main spike, which is something that this orchid has not done before. Historically, it has always put out one main flower spike and only bloom on that main flower spike. And each time, it will give me maybe 8 to 10 blooms. But this time around, it's obviously a lot more than that. And the bloom cycle is quite long as well. This one, I think it's close to 2.5 months. It's pretty long because even when I was taking these photos, the first 3 flowers were already done with, and then the 4th flower that opened was already looking, showing signs of fading. Unfortunately, this orchid does not have any fragrance, but that's expected because grocery store Phalaenopsis typically it's highly hybridized, so along the way they lose that fragrance characteristics. But I'm still glad that this orchid has some modeling on the leaves. Those markings are something that I really like. I only have a few other orchids in my collection that have markings on the leaves, and they are Schilleriana, Sturtiana, and then the cross between these two species, and then it's called Phalaenopsis Philadelphia. So it's a cross between Schilleriana and Sturtiana. But the fact that this orchid also has it, makes me want to create a spot for it in my collection. So this orchid, now this video clip is its current bloom cycle video clip. I usually give this orchid 1/4 cup of water. And because the inner cup, its original container, has a little bit of, it's higher in the outer cup, so sometimes 1/4 cup of water doesn't get completely retained within the medium, so some excess water will actually go to the drain out, and that's okay, because through evaporation, that moisture, that humidity can rise, and the orchid itself can still benefit from it. We're not talking about too much of excess water. We're not talking about a huge amount of water, because usually after 1/4 cup is poured onto the medium, I would say maybe, gosh, I don't even know. It's only very small amount. Like if you look at the overall height, it's probably less than half an inch, maybe 1/4 of an inch of water that's left at the bottom. So if this orchid has some roots coming out of the inner pot, those roots reaching the bottom can also take up water from there. But for this one, I have since repotted, so now we don't have to worry about that. But I still use double cup method. But what I'm showing you in this video clip right now is the 2 newer leaves are growing smaller than the older leaves. So that is telling me that there's something to be done with this orchid, and it could be nutrients, but it could also very well be that this orchid is a little too high in its position, and I should probably repot it, so resituate it so that it is deeper into the pot, so that more roots are in the medium to be able to take up water and nutrients. So I'm thinking that's what I would do after this bloom cycle. Hopefully this orchid would do better, because it has never created any issue for me, other than this time around these 2 newer leaves are growing smaller than I would expect. So that's something that we'll have to do, a repot, a gentle repot, a quick repot, just to see what's going on inside the medium, and then resituate the orchid a little bit better, so that way it's not too high up above the medium in terms of those roots, and just overall make it lower into the cup would also help the way that this orchid look on the growing rack. Other than that, I'm pretty happy with this orchid's performance this time around, so I think I'll keep it for another year. This is all I have for you today. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you would like to get more orchid related videos from my channel, please subscribe and turn on the notification. I want to wish you happy growing, and I will talk to you in my next video. Ciao!